Yes, and my most humble congratulations to the King of Belgium for his wonderful ball. I'm sure we all envy greatly the might of Belgium's culture. Yes. I'm terribly sorry. If you excuse me, I'm very weary. I would like to retire. Enjoy your run of my castle, you snotty little hello. What? Oh, I'm in a mood. I'm in bloody Belgium again. I definitely don't want to kick that kid down the stairs. Yes, well, before he starts making comments about how to run a country, someone could maybe comment on the fact he can't grow chin hair. No, I don't like him. Thank you for pointing out that. I'm very sure it really needed to be pointed out. I'm sorry. I'm in a dreadful mood. Did I just apologize to you? I suppose you're right. That's not a very common thing, for a commoner to be apologized to by the king of the land, but, well, I talked to you a while back about your predecessor. As king, you have many things: subjects, alliances, nobles and peasants, and advisors, and jesters, and artists, smiths, and in the end, the thing you lack for most is friends. People who see a person and not a crown, I mean, what does the fact that I have to spend most of my day putting on this accent tell you? Oh yes, you ask most people, would you like to be king? And they'll say yes, and of course they would, because, I'm not immune to the fact that this comes with many privileges. However, you give up many, many, many freedoms. Any freedoms, really. Oh, you think you can just write about and do what you want because you're the king? It's quite the opposite. I'm very much constrained. I very much have no minute of the day where there isn't some ponce who needs my time, who needs my favor, who needs me to reassure them that, oh yes, you're loved by your kingdom and you're so important. In the end, well, frankly, you and your role are far more important than most of them. Most of them are expendable. In the sense that, well, when one of their underlings in their little feuding houses assassinates them, or they die of old age, or whatever else may happen, the next snotty, glad-handing, moronic individual will step up into their place. They are very much products of their self-imposed idiocy, and no matter how much I may try to better them in some way or another, it proves nearly impossible because, of course, traditions must be kept. And if that tradition is that half of my country have to be imbeciles because they can't be educated, well, there's one I'm working very diligently on, let me tell you, but I honestly do believe the amount of rebellion it would cause. Anyway, simply put, education should be this country's #1 priority. The crown can have all the riches, or really pretend riches, we want, but at the end of the day, if it is not for the benefit of the people, it's for the benefit of nobody. What good does it do me to sit in a pile of gold? But it's not even financial that's truly the problem, it's cultural. How do you convince the urchins that the best thing they can do is be highly educated, is to create and invent new things? How do we create spaces for them to do that? How do we create environments where not just the privileged few, but the many, the ones with the real ideas, the revolutionaries hiding in the gutters, how do we bring them out and give them the opportunities and the tools and the education and the guidance they need to become the great people that will lead this country into a glorious future? How do we stop ourselves from becoming a nation run by a very small number of very poorly chosen individuals? And I am all too aware of the fact that, well, royal blood does not necessarily bring about excellence of character or of intent. It's hard to know who will rule immediately after me, let alone in 3-4 generations' time. I cannot guarantee anything. And so one must try to build for a future that is almost too stable, too well thought out to be ruined by an imbecile on the throne. Because the reality is that one day there will be one. Perhaps one day there shall be a better system than this. Perhaps royal blood is not the best metric to choose a ruler by. Perhaps the people should choose a leader, a great person based on their lifetime of wonderful achievements and forward thinking. But then again, that is to presume that that is what the peasants would vote on. Presumably, if anyone ever actually tried such a ludicrous system, such a unstable mess of a system, they would find that the people who managed to get themselves chosen would almost certainly be those least suited to ruling. In fact, thinking about the nobles that I am subjected to, I can pretty much I can imagine exactly which ones would be chosen, and I can imagine the exact same ones being the people you wouldn't want to let, well, into an advisory role, much less a role with outright authority, my word. No. Such a system could never work. At least not without rigorous, well, I don't know what one should call them, checks and balances. Ways to oppose outright authority, but then you simply water down the mind of the ruler. I guess it's a way to safeguard against an imbecile, but it also hampers a genius. Not that I'm suggesting I'm a genius, although many glad-handers would. Oh, you're the best king in years. Oh, you're a visionary. Yes, and what would you like? There's another thing. A king is never truly complimented, because everyone is looking to gain something. There's almost nobody in a role where they can just simply tell truth and say what they like and don't. You think I'm an excellent king? Oh, really? And what metrics do you base this on? Huh. That's actually a rather insightful answer. You are the rather remarkable one, aren't you? I get the distinct impression if I had said half of this to most of the nobles that they would have zoned out or simply just been too outraged with the notion that they aren't always right to be anything other than morons about the whole damn thing. And here you sit, a commoner chosen from these lands, admittedly chosen by people I trust to present me with an interesting mind because they knew how big it was to give me someone who I could fall attached to as a useful cog in the royal machine. I beg your pardon? I mean exactly what I said, and I said that you shall develop into a fine part of my life and in an unofficial advisory capacity, and potentially a friend one day. Although, of course, that is not to be repeated outside of this room. Outside of this room, you're a servant. And inside the room, you are a trusted servant. I may be colloquial due to a reminiscence for your predecessor. Do not take it as a sign of anything other than hope that you may one day walk in those shoes, and until then, do not assume to be above anyone or anything. Am I clear? Good. What? You like me when I relax. Relaxation. What a foreign concept. Maybe the Belgians could teach me it. Well, I do concede I enjoy our conversations. If nothing else, it is quite a change of pace. I do really like you. As a potential friend and servant. I did say I like you, yes. I do not know why you grin this way, but I would ask you to remember your place and who it is that stands in front of you and the responsibilities that come with the title I bear. Even if sometimes I do wish I could just like someone. It's getting late. We should... What? Yeah, thank you. I'm aware that I'm the king. What do you mean I can't like who I like? I do not understand your meaning. I may be the most powerful person in the country, but I am also one of the most restrained. I could not simply go to a tavern and meet someone and fall in love. I am constrained by what is the purpose of my life. I cannot simply grow affectionate towards someone who is not politically advantageous as a spouse. A secret. And I am supposed to secretively have someone in my bed? That no one should know in the castle? No, of course not. That word would not get out amongst the nobility, that person would not immediately become a target. No, that person would be in danger as soon as anyone found out. Oh, I know court is full of such dalliances. It is one of the reasons it is so very easy to play these people, because having information on people is having power on them. I would struggle to put anyone in such a position. No matter how much it may tempt at times. You wish to speak, then speak. I can trust you? Well, that is yet to be seen to an extent. I have said far too much already, I suppose. But how do you mean I can trust you? Yes, you may be honest. I'd be disappointed were you not so. What you want to do? What could you possibly... No. This must never be. This must never be spoken of again, I'm afraid. In this one moment, I could admit to you that were I not a king, but I have a duty. Were I not a king. We must never speak of this again. It shall not be held against you, do not fear, but this cannot be allowed to happen. Tomorrow we shall act as if this has never even been on either of our minds. And today I think we should call it a night.